avalanche is about. Business continues below.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It's
Gets
gross.
the people going.
It's
No,
disgusting.
that's enough! Why do you...
Look at him. He runs like a Welshman. Doesn't he? Doesn't he run like a Welshman?
We made it. We made it. We are here, except for Dad, apparently. Are you there?
Hello. Hello.
I couldn't tell if that was my internet or whatever. Hey, what do you think of the new intro? Do we like that?
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, a little bit of the avalanches. It's great too. I know we used to enjoy that.
I did. It was one from my childhood.
To you kids, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
You
very,
did.
very,
Yeah,
very,
it was
very good evening and welcome. Afternoon, is it? Tea time.
It is. It's just after 5, Dad. That's what the time that is.
British tea time, sir.
It's British tea time. It's tea time somewhere in the world, I guess. Let me just hit this for the
It's
second
tea time right now.
while I sort myself out.
It's the part of our thing we want to keep culture. Cups of tea.
What? Getting up really late? I'm just.
Cups of tea and polite conversation.
I can do the cups of tea or polite conversation. I can't do both. Whenever I've got a cup of tea in my hand, I'm always raging.
Yeah, that's because we give you a cup of tea to calm you down, you lunatic.
Like, quick, give him another one. He's shaking the last one out with rage.
Yeah.
I'm constantly stood in a puddle of tea. Silverfish love me.
A puddle of tea for me. MZ, you're too sweet, isn't you? Look at this. Hey.
We've missed your last couple of streams, but you've got your PC fixed. You're all back. You're back as back can be.
I fixed it with the strangest of faults. I won't tell you about it because it's just boring computer twaddle. But yeah, fixed it. Fancy that.
Safe to say that the pixies and the goblins that live inside the PC tower are now not on strike anymore. Their union is satisfied and their standards of living have been increased, and now it all works. And there's a message in there for everyone.
And they've retired, to Spain, I believe. To live amongst amongst retired auditors and watch these.
That's
What?
Speaking of which, we've got a whole bunch of stuff lined up for you today.
Go on, then.
Speaking of goblins and gremlins and all that, we're talking about the far right, obviously. So on one of the last streams, I think the last stream, we identified a group of us came together. We identified a sort of structure within the far right, and that's kind of been expanded upon. And I think that I'm ready to give like examples of things of how this works, and we can see the inner workings of it using the riot and other examples as a perfect way to highlight and demonstrate the inner workings of this structure, how each tier depends on the others, and how it all comes together to be one big pile of shit.
And that rioting is a perfect illustration of the state of some people's minds as well. You absolute throbbers that walk amongst us. Yes, I'm sure we'll go into that. Yes.
We'll get into this early doors. You need to get yourself over to the soundboard. Well, let me do it properly. Turn it all the way up.
Am I throbbing again?
Boom.
Where's
You
the
certainly
sound?
are.
Little tinker.
So if you go into media assists and scroll all the way down to the bottom, it'll say sounds. Just above it says background music, which is at the very bottom. Sounds is the soundboard. Oh, I know I am.
We're going to do I think the next will be the roast of JOJ. We'll do a roast.
No, right. You've got into, that's a different one. You need to go into soundboard. So you need to go into where it says sounds, Dad. At the bottom of media assist.
Oh, he's found it. He's found it. Well done. Thank you. Thank you. Easy now. Easy now. Okay.
That one's a bit loud. That one's a bit too loud. I don't like that.
Too
Do you know what that
ridiculous.
one is, Dan?
Bullshit. Made up bullshit.
That's what that is. So we can't do it both at the same time. We know that, but we've got the soundboard working, so this is going to come in really handy. So what we're going to be doing to kickstart the show, I'm going to go through a headline rundown, but this time it's only going to be one story. This is
that's a madness, that's a madness.
I already regret the soundboard. No, it's gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. I love it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, if you want to be able to interrupt and stuff, and you want to, like while we're watching and going through some of the footage, because it will involve reviewing a lot of clips from this YouTuber and the whole Lego story and everything else. Because that's the story that we're going to go through. Once we do that, if you need to stop or anything, just hit the soundboard. If you need to add to anything, just use the soundboard. It's there to increase everybody's experience.
That's fantastic. Great
Now,
idea.
here's the trouble. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be outrageous, and to stop us from both doing what we do with the comments, where you highlight one and then I highlight it. In fact, I'm going to do the opposite. You can have the soundboard. That's your thing to do.
Are you assaulting me?
See, and we avoid that where you press ones, I press one. So you've got the soundboard, yeah? That's your domain. You happy with that?
I'm absolutely. I'm happy with that. Well done. Yes.
Yeah, the audience one seems to be really loud. I don't know if it's loud for everyone else, but yeah, just a little note to remember. But yeah, go. You've got them all there at your disposal, and this is, well, to be honest, Dad, you're a bit of a liability, so this is going to be fun. Oh, I love it.
Whoever organised that, who did that then?
Me, I did that.
Oh, well done, you little gene, you little genii. Genius.
Certainly, man.
I mean, wonderful. Wonderful.
Absolutely. Right then, shall we? I'll tell you what. Before we get the show started, I've got way ahead of myself, Dad. I've got way ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I don't like that one. I'm just gonna say this is now okay. Yeah. It's gone from being like to I don't like it anymore. I'm joking.
Fucking no. Okay.
All right, let's have a look. No, it's absolutely cool. That only that one and the other one, those two audience ones, they're proper loud. And I've got that dodgy ear of an at the moment. Pray to the drum. So first we've got Michael, who came in first at the thing at 4:30. We've got a bunch of 4:30s. Look at this. We've got Specs being also at 4:30, and we've got MZ in there at third. So Michael gets his 10 points for being first. Specs Bean gets his 5 points for being second, and MZ gets 2 for being third. And if one of my lovely mods could update the scoreboard in the Discord, then we'll do that.
I'm going to say that's just a little harsh. I mean, they all got in the same minute.
All right, and are you saying we should also give? Should we give joint third to Gillian as well then? Because they got in there at the right time.
There you go.
Gillian's so fast. I didn't schedule this stream till like 28, and she's there at 4:30. So you get your 2 points as well, Gillian. So there you go. There's your first, second, and we're going to go joint third here, and then nil point, unfortunately, for Hanya Candlelit. And then also, hey, we've also got Terry in here. How you doing, Terry? Hope you're good. But yeah, shout out to the chat. We've also got a Jim Speak. How?
Yeah.
Oh, it won't even let me highlight that comment. There we go. Yodely yo. We've got a Gamer Less in here. We've got everyone. So I think we're about ready. Shall we begin?
I think we should begin indeed. Okay.
Here we go. So this is currently the trending Lego scandal that is rocking YouTube, as it says here, and the entire state of Utah. Dad, are you at all familiar with
possibly
this?
The world? Oh, there's been a massive theft of Lego. There's been somebody's broken in Lego bricks. So, I mean, this is serious stuff.
It gets even weirder than that. It wasn't even like just a regular old sort of theft. It's so in depth, and it involves the state of Utah, the police, a YouTuber called Reckless Ben, and running away to Mexico, and $200,000 worth of Lego Star Wars collections.
And that stuff could
it's
be
honestly
anywhere.
crazy.
And
Mormons.
Anyone who's ever stood on stood on a piece of Lego in the dark knows how serious this is.
Lego ain't no joke, is it?
No, they're bloody sharp in the corners. So yeah, Grand Theft Lego, well said. So, do you want me to read this?
If you don't mind, that'd be absolutely fantastic.
Okay, so this week I've been buried under a series of story tips and reporting leads that I'm excited about, that I think are important, and that I'm anxious to get into the world, somebody wrote. But I woke up today and realized I could simply no longer ignore the simmering drama that has been on my radar for weeks, that is now breaking containment and demands attention. The YouTube Lego drama, aka Bricks and Minifig scandal. It is, unfortunately, impossible to succinctly or fully explain the YouTube Lego drama, for I believe it is impossible for one to fully understand or suss out every angle that is going on. The drama is buried in dozens of YouTube videos, many of which are hours long. Police reports, local news reports, police body camera footage, cease and desist letters, hostage-style vertical video statements, and more. But it is important that you are at the very least aware of it and that you know it's occurring, because it is fucking crazy.
And it is absolutely outrageous. And this as well, this is reporting that's coming from 404media.co.
404 Media, yes.
Oh, yeah. We're totally, I think we own these guys, don't we? Like, we own Hope Not Hate and stuff, as they've been saying.
We'll be honest. One of our assets. Yeah. No.
Just to clarify, for anybody new that's watching, there is a rumor that goes around in the far right sphere that we happen to own, manage, or are affiliated or work for or with any of these like groups like Hope Not Hate or whatever. Yeah, or any outlet really that they don't like.
If you can hear my dog snoring, I do apologize. So, one of the things we aspire to do at 404 Media is to amplify the most important stories in individual communities to a wider audience. And this is one such case, which touches on many such things, on so many things. Where did I get that from? We're at least kind of interested in. It's tearing apart the Lego community, is one of the most popular things happening on YouTube right now, and appears to have become the most important local news story in a small town in Utah called American Fork.
This is just wild. We're gonna have a look at this now from Reckless.
This man spent his life collecting what's now.
It's a really in-depth story. I'll tell you that much for now. We are gonna skip through some of it and make sure that we've got some of the bulk in the back. Absolutely, don't worry about it. We're not going to sit here for the next 5 hours. There is literally hours and hours and hours of this footage, but it is super in-depth. So, bear with us. Let's see how this goes out, because honestly, it is such a huge story.
Known as the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection ever. It's estimated to be worth around $200,000. And then the entire thing got stolen, and the police are actively working with the thieves to cover the entire thing up. But the craziest part is that the collector doesn't even know that his collection's been stolen. Yeah, the collector's son, Brian, he reached out to me because he has no clue how to break this news to his dad.
At this point, my father had a health episode. We can't bring any stress to him.
The reason he's reaching out to me is because the police are covering this entire thing up. And at this moment, I promised Brian that I would not end this video until I get his entire world record Star Wars collection back. But anyways, the thief of this collection is actually a corporation called Bricks and Minifigs.
Bricks and Minifigs, the biggest toy store of its kind.
It's the largest toy store.
Because that's a madness,
we're not just your average Lego store.
For collectors.
I forgot what I was going to say. Shit.
I
got so mixed up trying to decide which button to press. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Carry on, please. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it, honestly. In this bit here as well, this sort of like intro part as well, he really does a good job of sort of quickly-ish explaining the ins and outs of what's going on and gives you a quick intro and rundown on who Bricks and Figs are, Bricks and Minifigs, sorry, and who the victims are. And obviously, as we've learned right now, that the actual victim isn't the person that's at the center of this story. It's his son that's managed to reach out to Reckless Ben, this YouTuber, who, by the way, if he turned all of this effort into like this sort of side of like YouTube and did politics and stuff, that guy would be unfucking stoppable. This stuff is amazing. It gets so bad. It involves like the Mormons and then they run away to Mexico. Oh my god, this story, right? It's so cute.
Bricks and Minifigs is basically seen as the best and safest way to sell your Lego collections.
I'm selling my Legos. So what I'm planning to do with them is take them to my local Bricks and Minifigs.
Because there's so much positive media about them everywhere, Brian thought that this would be the perfect store to finally sell his dad's Lego Star Wars collection.
So I wrote up a contract.
In the contract, it says that these are still the family's Lego sets, but every time one gets sold, the store gets to keep a small percentage of each sale.
This was a store's worth of inventory.
It's kind of like, it's almost like consignment, isn't it? Like you don't pay for it until it's actually sold and you've got your Lego out. It's a mutually beneficial agreement between people who have things that they can't shift just yet and people who may potentially be able to do it but don't want to take a loss on it.
Sale or return, isn't it? We call it sale or return, I think.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, sale or return. And the thing that we've got here is like two people who it should have been a really mutually beneficial thing. And like he says, there's like $200,000 worth of what's that in regular money, by the way? What's that in pound sterling? I hate saying dollars all the time. It just sounds weird in our accent.
Say 180 grand or something like that. 180-ish.
149,000, I think.
Oh, that's 150. I was not bad off the top of my bald head.
Yeah, we'll call 149,900. We'll call it 150. You're not bald. We dyed your hair the other
I know. It's ginger. Yeah.
Hello, Krog.
Hello, mate. Welcomes. $1 worth 161. Oh, that's pretty good.
That is pretty cool. Thank you for that. So yeah, we're talking about like nearly £150,000 worth of Lego gear. That's a house. Well, maybe in some places in the UK, not everywhere. That's a house. That's all sorts of things. That's that's deposits on all. That's life-changing amounts of money, right? And this guy, it's a mutually beneficial contract. What could possibly go wrong?
So that store that day was nothing but my dad's collection. Like all the shelves filled. They had to bring in extra shelves.
Brought in extra wagons.
Shelves.
But the owner of the franchise, this woman,
because obviously this stuff when you buy it is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it's crazy overpriced and thanks to scalpers, shit like that is ridiculously expensive, but it's like you can relatively cheap, compared to like gold and stuff, I guess, but like that's £150,000 worth of Lego. You've got a lot of fucking Lego. That's more than just a store. Like that's, Jesus Christ, it's a lot of Lego.
Ah.
Well, her husband had to actually leave the country due to some work-related reasons.
My husband and I were planning on moving out of the country. I reached out to corporate to let them know, hey, this is something that's coming up in the next like 4 to 5 months.
She told the Bricks and Minifigs head corporation that she was planning on selling the store, so the corporation actually was able to find a buyer to buy it from her.
They let me know that they had somebody who was interested in purchasing a franchise in the area. He was going to be in town and he was going to stop by and just take a look at it. It wasn't until Brandon got there that he informed me that they were terminating my franchise agreement. We were getting threats from Brandon and from corporate that if we didn't leave the store immediately, the police were going to be called. I told corporate I wasn't comfortable leaving that night without the inventory. I was also told I was not going to be able to stay there long enough to do that inventory.
But we don't just have to take this woman's...
Ooh, with the tense music and everything else starting to get there now. So there's been directions from corporate to leave this £150,000 worth of fucking Lego in this store. Don't pack up any of your stuff. Just get out and go. Like if you're a company that's going under or something and you need to liquidate fast, and you've got one store that has that much Lego, and if anyone can sell that Lego, it's Bricks and Minifigs. They are the industry.
Yeah.
Reselling stuff. Are you excited yet, Dad? Are you excited into this Lego story? It's about to get crazy.
Oh, it's absolutely. I'm absolutely fascinated. I'm on the edge of my thing.
The edge of your thing. Ooh, that's phrasing. Word for it. She was actually able to save all the security camera footage from that night, proving that everything she just said is true.
All the footage and evidence is there in the security cam footage. It's him at the store kicking her out. In that footage they sent us is Crystal asking him, how am I supposed to pay this guy? These are sets he has not been paid for.
These are ones that he has not been paid his percentage yet. And if I don't have the tickets, I won't know how much I need to pay.
That's a business thing and not necessarily yours. He's taking on the business, he takes on all that kind of side.
His own corporation is sitting there on video saying they're going to take it.
After this woman got kicked out of her own store, she called Brian explaining how corporate just came down and is now trying to take the world's largest Lego Star Wars collection without paying for it. So Brian called the store to see what was going on.
Called the store and I said, what happened?
Right. So I think we kind of get what's happening in this particular piece here now. We're going to scroll down a little bit into here, and we're going to try and take their take on this. If you don't mind, Dad, could you take the lead on the read?
Well, I'm not the only one who feels this way. Tech Dirt's Mike Masnick, in a post titled "Everyone in this Lego dispute should have spoken to a lawyer earlier than they did," describes it thusly. If you haven't been following the Bricks and Minifig saga, congratulations on your peaceful existence. It's a genuinely difficult story to track, partly because we have to watch a bunch of long YouTube videos to piece it together, and partly because almost everyone covering it is pushing the specific angle. And that's why we're doing it for you.
It is, yeah. We're doing it so that you don't have to. Now sit down and watch all these videos with this. These were amazing. These, oh my god, the Benjamin Snyder mini release. I love this stuff. So obviously they really should have gotten into contacting solicitors and things earlier. I think at this stage throughout this video, this is where it culminates possibly into potentially a lawsuit. Maybe to get a bit more context, we'll skip towards the end here, where we see conversations that he has with these figures. Let me just make this bigger. There.
Not ready for.
When we took over that store, there was nothing in that store.
That's a lie. We just saw that.
I'm trying to apologize to a man.
Oh, sorry. Let me come back.
Oh, right. He's saying the stuff's not there. Dun, dun, dun.
Right, we'll start from this conversation here. I think we have skipped out a lot, I know, but I think that for contextual purposes, it's important not to miss what's happening here.
Is corporate being dishonest? Say it ain't so.
Hi, sorry, I got a delivery. Can I get a signature?
For some reason, Amanda just started signing our contract without even reading it.
Thank you so much.
In America, we have a duty-free contracts law, which states that you have to read a contract before you sign it. And if you forget to read it or you just choose not to read it, it's your fault and you still have to do everything the contract says. So even though Amanda didn't read it, she signed it, so she has to follow everything, including a clause that says for every police officer she calls on me, she owes me $5,000 in liquidated damages. So let's fast forward and see how much Amanda owes me. We got 5,000, keep going, 10,000, 15,000.
This isn't the part that I thought it was, but the YouTuber when Reckless Ben gets involved.
So, I mean,
go on.
So corporate is saying, this thing about the contracts, is that a thing here? Surely to fuck not. Surely if you can, I mean, because that was simple trickery. That was, he just fooled that woman into signing it because he lied to her and said it was for a delivery. So is that a thing here? Surely to not. Surely not to goodness. Surely to, you know what I mean? Fucking.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I'll find the right thing.
But I
don't know what to say.
Because
have a quick Google in the background.
That's a madness.
have a quick look in the background if you can, Dad. Just to see if you can find what the UK equivalent of that is and if we can have it over here, because it is fucking brutal. And yeah, Reckless Ben is fucking quite solid with all this shit. But yeah, they They do some pretty fucking mad things, to be fair. Where was it now? So it was just back to here. Right, we'll hit play there. You have a look in the background. We'll see what's going on. But Reckless Bed's
Josh said next, I was not ready for.
When we took over that store, there was nothing in that store. The shelves were empty. I don't know why you guys are thinking we're the bad guys.
Josh's story has now completely changed. Now he's saying, even if I'm able to make peace with Amanda, they still won't be able to give me the Legos back because they never even had the Legos to begin with. Well, if Josh is telling the truth, then why did Josh say this to us last time?
We're happy to give you your stuff back.
I mean, what stuff of ours would he be giving back if none of our stuff was even ever in his store? Like, what about this?
I'm happy to go open that stupid cupboard and you can have all the sets in there. I want to give it back to him. I'm happy to give you the inventory. Give the inventory to Brian. I'll give them back. I'm not gonna screw you.
The guy that you can hear talking right now. This is Joshua Johnson, also known as Josh. Joshua Johnson, or Josh Johnson, however you want to say it. He's the former co-owner of Bricks and Minifigs franchise.
I know a chap with that name. I hope it's not him. So, in the UK, if you're tricked into signing a contract, as I would argue that lady was, the agreement is generally voidable. You may not be legally bound if you can prove you were the victim of misrepresentation, fraud, or duress. The law recognizes that true consent is required to form a valid contract. So that's pretty fucking dangerous. Fair enough. And then
that's pretty says that up pretty well.
And being, duress, all that stuff. So yes, we take the more humane approach by saying no. If you were tricked into signing it, you've been tricked, and it doesn't count. So how about that?
Well, there you go. That kind of sews that up pretty well, doesn't it? So, yeah, that is a bit of trickery there. And if it's legal in the States, it's legal in the States. They haven't broken any laws, I guess, although it's nothing that I recommend anyone does, especially not in this country. Jesus.
One of those the guy that you can... between our great nations.
Right. The American legal system is just so crazy. Their sue culture and everything else. It proper goes right over my head. You'd have to be a whole legal expert to understand any of the ins and outs of that stuff. But yeah, so this guy, along with his partner Brendan Best, who's the one that we saw in the footage before, were central figures in this theft scandal, right? So Brian placed his family's $200,000 Lego thing. It was on consignment, and then Josh and Brandon Best took over the franchise through their company Baker Bricks. So that's when we saw, just at the beginning of this video, the previous owners being taken out, and a prior consignment agreement was then hidden. And we saw that because they agreed to take it on. So this guy that you're hearing now is one of the new owners. He's the person that Reckless Ben has got on the phone. I just wanted to give you a little bit more context, and you can hear him in audio calls saying that, yeah, we've got this stuff. We'll get it sorted out. There's no problem with it whatsoever. And then, you flash forward to now, which is what they're going to do. And he'll say he knows nothing about this incident. So to clarify, just to round up the story so far, in case you're confused, because we've done this in a bit of a confusing way, somebody's son has put their Sick Fathers collection, the world's biggest Star Wars Lego collection, into a store that made up the entire store. They had a consignment agreement. It was beneficial for everyone. Then the franchise was brought out by two figures, Brendan and Josh, right? They, Josh is also co-owner of Bricks and Minifigs. They have then said that they would honor this Lego consignment deal, in a way that, they prevented the owner from getting access to it and were like, no, you need to leave. You're not having any of this. We'll sort it out and we will take on this consignment and honor that agreement. They made that agreement on video. And now here we are. So that's pretty much caught up to where we're at. Now they're saying that no such agreement existed and who knows where the Lego is. All $200,000 of it.
Yeah, my word. That's not who I am. I promise you. I swear to God. I promise you on everything.
I mean, Josh is on video swearing to God and on everything he'll give us the Legos back. But now, for some reason, he never even had the Legos.
Him swearing on God is a very important thing. I just want to put it out there. This will become relevant later. He is a Mormon. It sounds irrelevant, but I promise you it will be relevant.
This makes no sense.
Dude, The shelves were empty.
So I decided to remind him of all of these examples where he claims they do have Brian's Legos in the store still. And this was his response.
You, I never said that.
Yeah, you did.
Give a damn of your fucking little opinion. It's wrong. And if you want to test your fucking opinion, let's go to court. Who enforces the law?
The court? So
Exactly.
so you're saying that
It's just a
so you're saying
difference of opinion.
so basically what you're saying is I'm wrong, but you can sue me for it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the long and the short of it.
So you know you're wrong. So you know that you stole the Legos then.
Let's go to court then.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, is that what you want?
Yeah.
You really want that?
I mean, I would like to just get the Legos back, but if that's what you want, I mean, it seems like this is what you want. I'm giving you every out that I can, but
Let's just not go down. Look.
dang.
Don't go down that route. It doesn't really matter because
I just want to get the Legos back. They're Brian's Legos. Give them back. It's pretty easy. It's kind of funny that this entire video, Josh has just been begging me to sue him.
Tell me. Let's go to court.
But the second I agree to it, his attitude completely changes. It's almost.
So, right, okay, we're getting to the very last of this, and then we'll move on with the article and look at some of the stuff now. Let's get to, I think it's around here-ish. Somewhere like that. I think this is them.
That tells him.
The Mormon God himself. And also, as well, no disrespect to practicing Mormons. I also, as well, when I talk about Mormons, like, my family were Mormons, okay? I'm allowed to do this. That's not even a lie, is it? But no, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way. It's about this particular group, and it's not representative of all Mormons at all. I don't mean it in any way. Although that is it's a mad group to look at, to be fair. But let's have a look.
Like harassing us because well, a lot of the Legos that we sell here are actually stolen Legos. Like we just steal the Legos.
Yeah.
Now he's pretending.
Anyways, we ended up getting the rest of the court papers served, and now I'm just gonna fast forward a few months, and Bricks and Minifigs hasn't responded to a single court case we submitted against them. So I called the court to see what the next steps were.
Okay, so I don't see that there's been a response from anybody in the case. Since they didn't respond, you can move forward with a motion for default judgment.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. Yes, since Bricks and Minifigs didn't respond, it looks like we win by default. Congratulations, you won the court case.
Wait, what? They really thought it was fake.
Yeah.
We did it. I mean, that's fucking crazy, dude. No way. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I think now it's time to go all the way back to Bricks and Minifigs and collect our money. And I got a cute little piggy bank here that they can put the money in. And so I traveled all the way back to Oregon to finally collect my money.
He's such a fucking legend. I love this guy. He's absolutely awesome. And I'm sure he's not going to have any troubles with collecting his money in any way, shape, or form at all in the slightest.
The words fuck and off are going to appear, aren't they?
Yes, well, we shall see, Let's see what happens.
Okay.
In that order, right. I think, don't get me wrong, we've missed out a lot, including, like, you know, there were other people involved in this lawsuit, as you just saw them. We've definitely missed out a lot, but we've covered a lot of the main facts here. So don't worry, we're nearly there.
It truly is a beautiful ending. This entire video, Bricks and
I've got a tear in my eye.
Minifigs has been begging me to sue them.
If you think it's illegal, why show me? Let's go to court. Tell me for us. Tell me. Let's go to court. Let's go to court then.
When I finally followed their instructions, they were too scared to show up. There is no more legal loopholes, and there is no more postponing the problem. Now, Bricks and Minifigs finally has to deal with the consequences for their actions. So what if theoretically it went to court and it turns out you were wrong? Would you then admit you're sorry for everything?
Yeah, sure, of course, yeah. I give him the inventory, and the judge says I gotta give it to him. I gotta give it to him. Well, I gotta go against the judge's orders.
This is amazing. I mean, it's this whole video, right? It's back and forths and all these stunts and appearing places in his pants, and like everything else. It's just been one hell of a journey, and we can't wait to see what's going to happen now. we're ready to finally see the conclusion of this story, then we can move on with the rest of the show.
Closed as a shut place.
I couldn't believe it. Literally one day after we filed motion for default judgment, they permanently closed down the store. At first, it did feel kind of cool that our plan worked so well, it completely shut them down. But pretty quickly it sunk in that we are not the winners here. The only winners today is Bricks and Minifigs. Now, there's absolutely no way to hold this store liable for what they did. I guess Bricks and Minifigs was kind of embarrassed by this decision and forgot to mark online that their store is closed. So over the next few days, a bunch of negative reviews started coming in of people expecting an open store, but then being met with this. Bricks and Minifigs didn't even notify any of the kids' parents who booked birthday parties here. So when all the kids would show up, they would just have to sit in an empty parking lot for their birthday. If Bricks and Minifigs is too scared to show the world that they're closed, then the only way to let the world know is for me to give them an official closing ceremony. I guess someone driving by happened to take a picture of the sign we put up and posted it on social media. And pretty much immediately, we started going absolutely viral. The entire world has now seen this crime that Bricks and Minifigs has committed. And because of this, they finally marked on Google that their store is permanently closed.
I've been reading about this Bricks and Minifigs in Salem, Oregon. It's got this sign out in front of it.
It's been over a week. The sign is still up, and people have been traveling from all over just to come and take a picture with this sign.
If you drive through Kozer, you may have noticed a mysterious sign appear recently outside the closed Mini Bricks and Fig store. Permanently closed, we stole a family's life savings. They sued, we lost. By closing the store, we got out of having to pay the family what we owe them.
Well,
because that's a madness, bruv. That's a madness.
So it's a long and difficult story that's like really hard to follow, I guess, sometimes. But at the center of it, a company stole a family's life savings, right? That this family, when their father got sick, were trying to use his collection to be able to generate enough money so that they could cash in on that and live a life that, you know, that improves their situation and things, right? It's just a family's life savings, and like these couple of figures have done everything that they can to be able to avoid any sort of accountability, and they've taken that Lego set. In my opinion, I don't think that Lego is anywhere. I think they've just sold it on and, you know, got a price for it because it's worth.
He gave it to his kids.
He gave it to his kids, yeah. It's all over in the sandboxes outside.
150 grand's worth or whatever, 200 grand's worth of Lego. I don't think it's all that much. I don't think you could build more than a very small room with it, honestly.
Well, I mean,
it was specialist stuff, wasn't it? Star Wars.
It was
to have different shaped bricks, isn't it? Just because
it filled the store. It filled the whole store. Like that's what they were all saying. And like when we saw the at the beginning as well, where she was pointing at the stuff, like the whole store, they had to get an extra shelving and everything for it. And then she was pointing out like all of this stuff here, this is on consignment. I haven't even paid the guy. I need to calculate what's left, what I owe him and stuff. And then, you know, he can get that stuff back. And they were like, we'll pick up the tab. Don't you worry. We got this.
That was a lot
and then moved her out.
Wasn't it? The Steelers.
And then they kept it, yeah. And then that Lego was moved out of there then, and then it sort of disappeared within the big corporation. I say the big corp, but the biggest sort of Lego reselling corporation with all this beautiful, positive, pristine reputation, branding, and marketing everywhere. It disappeared within them, and now the owners and, you know, the people that have taken over that area that deny nothing. They didn't even turn up to court after being begged to be sued, and then now they've just shut the store down.
Corporate are people nowadays in the States, aren't they? Aren't corporations given the same rights as people?
Oh, Dad, not just that, but they could even get police backing. Now, this is where the story gets really interesting. It's not over yet.
What?
It's not even close to being over yet. No, it is not. So, I know, right? Let's have a looky here, see. So, this is a bit of a recap here, but if you don't mind, Dad, it is worth it, I promise.
Okay.
If you don't mind. I'm sorry I'm torturing you with this Lego story. I really think that by the end of it, you're going to be telling.
I can't wait
You
to see
know,
the point. I'm going to open my popping because I'm so excited. Go on, then. Oh. Tango.
Whenever you're ready, Dad. It's right on there.
Yeah, go. So Bricks and Minifigs is a chain of independent Lego stores that's had a series of franchises around the country. A thing that at least some Bricks and Minifig stores do is consignment. In 2023, a man named Ed Mansell and his son Brian asked a Bricks and Minifig store in Salem, Kaiser, Oregon, to sell their collection of Lego bricks, which, according to the store itself, was worth over $200,000. The store began to sell this collection, but then the owner of the franchise changed hands and was taken over by Bricks and Minifigs Corporate. At this point, Brian attempted to either get the unsold portion of his collection back or money for the collection. Brian, apparently, was told to pound sand. And we know where they pound that. So he contacted a YouTuber, Brian did, with a YouTuber with 1 million followers named Ben Schneider, who goes by Reckless Ben on YouTube. Reckless Ben made a series of YouTube videos, starting with the 1.5 hour long "I Tracked Down the Thief Who Stole $200,000 worth of Lego," which currently has 4 million views. Schneider basically did a series of wacky but also funny things to draw attention to the matter, which included putting a giant sign on the shuttered Bricks and Minifig store in question that read...
Dad, I'm so sorry. Are you moving your mic around or something on the... I'm so sorry. It's making a lot of noise.
Oh. Yes, do you know, I was just touching it with my hand and it moved about 1/4 inch. Wow, that's amazing.
Sorry, there you go.
Schneider basically did a series of wacky but also funny things to draw attention to the matter, which included putting a giant sign on the shuttered Bricks and Minifig store in question that read, "Permanently closed. We stole a family's life savings. They sued, we lost. By closing the store, we got out of having to pay the family what we owe them." Bricks and Minifigs claimed that the store was instead closed temporarily because our staff, including local teenagers, faced severe real-world safety hazards, targeted in-person stalking, and explicit fucking bomb threats driven by viral videos. OMFNG.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Sarah Murphy.
And I'm Brian McElhatton. Good to have you with us tonight. Our top story for you, a $200,000 Lego collection was allegedly stolen and allegations of police misconduct protecting those responsible.
It's a story making rounds on social media. You've likely seen them. Our Mackenzie Diaz joins us here tonight with this massive story. Mackenzie?
Yeah, guys, well, what started as a dispute over a rare Lego collection has grown into a controversy involving online investigators and American Fork Police. Now questions are being raised about how those investigations intersect with law enforcement.
American Fork Police. You're going to love these guys, Dad. I swear to fucking God. If ever there was a town that doesn't have auditors, it's American fucking police. Like, they don't have to deal with auditors, clearly. Like, these guys do whatever the fuck they want. Like, this is like the sort of like the kind of police that we see on TV, sort of thing. Like, how you liking the town? Do you like the treatment you're getting? Maybe you should skip town and not be here. Like, it's proper like, oh shit. Like, what these guys did, it's so weird how they're aggressively involved in this, and they are not helping the image that we have when looking at American coppers. They are such like out in the sticks type, stereotypical police force that are just so like bent and corrupt. It's unreal. And the religious link that it has as well. Oh, it's fucking outrageous. This is such a mad story.
The center of this dispute is a $200,000 Lego collection. Court documents say an Oregon man had a consignment agreement with the Bricks and Minifigs franchise to sell their collection. His family sued the franchise, claiming their agreement was breached and that Bricks and Minifigs stole the Lego collection. When the family couldn't get a resolution, they reached out to YouTuber Ben Schneider, who tried taking those reportedly responsible to court. Schneider traveled to American Fork, Utah, where the franchise executive lives, phones and started documenting interactions with the executive and posting videos. That executive called police several times. One time, police say a man working with Schneider was dressed as a UPS driver attempting to
These American laws that allow this stuff is just, oh my God. Daddy, hit the soundboard. What is it?
What's what?
This whole situation where they get to like entrap people like that. Hit the soundboard. Which one what do you think I'm saying? This is.
Oh, mate, you know this is. Let me just scroll because for fuck's sakes, where's it gone?
Right at the bottom of
that's a madness, bruv. That's a madness.
2-tier and a bit quick here. 2-tier and a bit quick here.
Yeah, not on a repeat, certainly.
Bunch of fascist slags.
No, that was yeah, there you go. That's the right one. No, what do you call it? That one that you heard then, I have to put a bit of background to that because this is the first time we're using this. That's our mate Roy, who, if you've been to Tenerife, he's been to 11 Tenerife. He claims that he used to steal cars for the IRA. Oh, that geezer. I don't think that was true. Oh, he's had lots of good stories. But yeah, this whole 2-tier and a bit quick here, that was, yeah, we had to put that on the soundboard. That guy's such a lemon. Right, back to the story. There is a madness, bruv. It's
contact the homeowner. And later a video confirmed that person was working with the YouTuber.
And also reported that a suspicious package had been left at the residence.
In this police body cam video, you can see Schneider in the backseat of a car.
Ben, how's Utah? It's good. You like it? So here's the thing, right? Is that he called in because people were filming his property. He got a package delivered today, right? And I already spoke to somebody else. He was filming him. I have the footage. I have the text messages, right? Let's let civil problems remain civil.
And in one clip, an officer questions Schneider and his crew if they were on drugs.
I have no idea because I've never done any drugs in my life. I'm literally on
this thing here. So they've already had a prior conversation when it was daylight. They've kept these boys here for hours, him and his whole crew, constantly being pulled over. That thing then where they were pulled over, that was for allegedly not stopping at a stop sign, which thanks to the Freedom of Information Request Act put in by Reckless Ben, he managed to get the footage for the car as it was for the dash cam footage for the police patrol car as it was following them. They didn't just like roll to a stop. They fully stopped at the stop sign, went around the corner, and then the officer was like, "Did you stop at that stop sign?" He's like, "I don't know. Did I?" And he's like, "I don't know. Tell me." And then he goes over to Ben and he's like, "How you like in Utah?" And it's like, this is their first interaction with the police at this point there, with this particular police department. They know exactly who he is. They know exactly what he's up to. And they're there to, clearly not for everyone's safety, and this spurious charge of like, didn't stop at a stop sign. They're trying to intimidate him. And that this is only the very, very start of it. Welcome to Utah. Now, they've held these boys here for hours, going, well, your eyes look a bit funky. They've given them every drug and sobriety test that they can do in the field, and they're passing all of it. But they're still determined there's something wrong with them. Maybe we should keep them here for longer.
4 hours of sleep in the last 2 days.
In another instance, video shows armed officers showing up to the home where Schneider was staying, executing a search warrant. The warrant, made public by police, says police were looking for evidence described as any stolen merchandise, specifically Legos.
And what the report is missing out here is that Joshua, or whatever his name was, Joshua, good old Josh from Bricks and Minifigs, he happens to be a Mormon person, and he lives in an area where there's lots of Mormon people. All of these police that you see here also happen to be Mormons. At the first point of contact, once the story developed and became a lawsuit, and they didn't turn up to the lawsuit and lost by default, and they closed their store, it didn't end there. Joshua, whatever his name is, this Josh dude, he ended up being attempted to be sued personally. But in order to do that, the state laws there say that you've got to have a reasonable conversation with them to give them, a reason as to why they haven't paid, what they're going to do about it, and everything else. That's what the court says. You've got to try and have that conversation. American laws are quite strange. So this guy is actively dodging it, and you've got to prove that he's actively dodging it. They even managed to get themselves like a server processor. By them, I mean like Reckless Ben and his gang, to try and serve him with court papers once they managed to, a normal conversation wasn't working. And this Josh kept phoning the Fork Police Department, and they would respond every time with heavy prejudice against Ben, and he couldn't understand what was going on. And then he made a phone call to the guy that we saw previously, the man whose father owned the Lego set originally, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, they're all heavily clicked up. The Utah Police Department, right, out there, the Fork Department, I guess, they're Mormon, and they all exist in this sort of Mormon circle. They help each other out." And I've got family that was Mormon, and there is a bit of truth to that, to be fair. They pay over a certain percentage of their wage into the church, and they build it, they get the land, they build the land, they donate the church to the tax-free to the actual church itself, to the system. It's weird, isn't it? Donating the church to the church. But I mean the church as in the organization, and the church in the land as in the physical space. But they do all that, and in exchange, everybody becomes together as like a close-knit community. So if you're, say, a plumber, and somebody within that community needs a plumber, you're pretty much kind of obliged, I guess, as part of that community, to go through and use your skills to help out, and not really charge people or charge them mates rates or little things like that. They're a very close-knit community that help each other out. And it seems to be that's what's tying the police and this man together. Every time they have any attempt to be able to get him to sign properly legal court documents, it ends up with guns at this guy's parents' house, with people in cuffs. It's properly wild. They keep pulling them over. They keep turning up at their home. And this warrant right now is because Joshua said, "Do you know what? I'm going to put in a report that says you stole the Lego, Reckless Ben," who was a YouTuber that didn't get involved in the incident until after the Legos were stolen. But the police department took this seriously, even though it was very clearly impossible to be the case, and they ran with it, going and busting into this guy's parents' house with guns out, looking for the stolen Lego that the guy who reported it obviously stole, who is admitted to owning it, taken legal responsibility for it, and lost in a court, and is ordered to pay it over or hand it over. Are you with me so far, Dad?
Kind of. Yeah, kind of.
It does get a bit messy, but these police are working with their friend, and they all go together to the same sort of congregation. They all operate the same Mormon church.
American Fork Police Department, make yourself known.
After the search, an officer grabbed his arm, and Schneider claims the officer dislocated it.
No. Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that.
In March of this year, American Fork Police arrested Schneider twice. They charged him with 2 misdemeanors, stalking and targeted residential picketing. Schneider also hired multiple people to help him with this investigation. Police questioned them too.
those bloody signs. Oh my God.
They charged him with 2 misdemeanors, stalking and targeted
Right, it's completely legal to do so. They did it on a stretch of land that they were allowed to do so outside this man's home, with the hope that they could draw him outside so that he could be approached by a process server and legally given papers to attend court again, which he was trying to avoid. And he was using the police to be able to prevent any action like that from happening, any form of protest, anything. He has them in his pocket. The Lego man seems to be directing the American Fork Police Department to harass a young person, this young YouTuber, and his family and everybody else. They're dislocating his arm and everything. They're pulling him over everywhere. They're welcome to Utah. Fucking hell.
Residential picketing.
We are getting close to being updated completely, I promise.
Schneider also hired multiple people to help him with this investigation. Police questioned them too. After his 2 arrests, Schneider's been posting videos online. He's accusing the American Fork Police of misconduct and claims they're siding with the business executive. Last week, American Fork Police released body camera footage and a statement about this.
Our responsibility was to respond to conduct reported here in our community, evaluate the facts available to our officers at the time.
Ew, why is he talking like that? Imagine if I'd rather than be kicking off and screaming. I don't like it when police are like, "Well, here's what we're going to do. All ASMR like. We're going to creep you out first with our wet breath down your neck." Ugh. It's creepy. Ugh.
And enforce Utah law as officers established.
Why is his mic that fucking loud? Oh my God.
Probable cause that a crime had occurred.
Bricks and Minifig's corporate franchisor filed a lawsuit against Schneider last week for trespassing, harassment, defamation, and more because of his online content.
Train set.
And the dispute over
the train set somebody was looking for.
There you go, Ollie. This is
The
just for
facts
you.
available to our officers at the time and enforce Utah law as officers established probable cause that a crime had occurred.
Bricks and Minifig's corporate franchisor filed a lawsuit against Schneider last week for
Look at that. It's even got a Santa Claus on there. It's a themed one. We know you like themed ones.
for trespassing, harassment, defamation, and more because of his online content. And the dispute over the Lego collection remains unresolved, and we have much, much more information and details on our website at abc4.com.
Right. So, Dad, if you don't mind, could you please...
Okay.
Could you please read this?
Right. So there are various other things Schneider did in the video. That's Reckless, what's his name, isn't it, Schneider?
Reckless Ben, yeah.
Yeah, which included starting a company called We Steal From Old People, which are possibly funny, but also not necessarily relevant. Schneider also set up a GoFundMe page for Brian, which has currently raised $382,000. As part of all this, Schneider went to Bricks and Mining headquarters in Utah in March, as well as the home of one of its executives. Schneider was arrested by American Fork, Utah police and charged with stalking and targeted residential picketing. Local news reported he was also separately arrested in American Fork on charges of disorderly conduct and criminal trespass. After Schneider's video came out, Bricks and Minifigs got pissed at him and has posted 2 different, very long blogs about the incident that the company says has required them to process a massive wave of online chaos. The company basically says that it's a big misunderstanding, that Schneider's videos are unfair, that its employers are now getting harassed, and that Lego bricks at issue weren't actually worth $200,000 anyway.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. So, right.
And could not return. Both.
Nope, no, I'm not doing it. No, you've got wet breath. I don't like it. So understandably, Schneider has turned this response into additional content, which has gone viral. Then this week, body cam footage of Schneider being arrested by American Fork police was released. He was arrested again and is being poured over by the community. The American Fork Police Department is also quite possibly created a brand new YouTube channel to release an extremely bizarre 30-minute YouTube video filmed in a
facsimile.
A facsimile of the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, the construct void room. It is like the void room from Matrix. Oh my, it's creepy. It's so creepy and weird. And they've put the ASMR camera right next to his breath. I can feel the moisture. Ugh. Yeah, that was about the arrests, and that simply must be seen to be believed. The police do not come off looking good in any of this, and it is clear from the body camera footage, the entire thing the police have the entire thing that the police have handled this terribly. So there's been a lot going on here. There's been cease and desist letters to all sorts, to the actual people like, the platforms like Patreon and such. There's also Patreon CEO Jack Conte filmed a hostage-style video about his takedown request. Like this, Bricks and Minifigs are not coming out looking good on this, by the way. And it all sort of ended up with... after being arrested by armed police multiple times and facing legal issues, and there may be more warrants that were vague out for his arrest, and no way that he was going to get bail on these issues after paying loads in bail anyway, thousands and thousands of dollars in total. Him and his family went to Mexico to continue making this content, and then they started that GoFundMe, which has now ended up in $300,000. I'll skip to the very end here. Don't worry, I'll stop torturing you all with the same story. But we're going to skip to the end here, and we were pretty much there, and have a look at what the last sort of thing was. So the fallout and who cares. Right, Dad, if you don't mind, could we do the last of this, and then we'll put the story to bed? Okay,
again, I'm glossing over much of what's happened here because to try to pass all of it would take many, many hours of my time and your time, and would result in even more excruciating detail than I've already provided. This has become a major, major deal in the Lego community on YouTube and in the Utah and Oregon communities where this all happened. It is extremely feeding the content industry. It is extremely feeding the content industry. It's not English. Here's just a tiny sample of some videos from the YouTube commentariat about the saga. I wouldn't bother hitting any of those.
We're not going to hit any of them, but look at them, and like it's going really viral online at the moment. And to be fair, it doesn't make much of as it's explained, they should have sorted this out with lawyers probably years ago, but unfortunately, it just wasn't. But also as well, it's got to be said that, you know, Bricks and Minifigs are going, well, Josh specifically, they're going at great lengths to make sure that this YouTube drama keeps going and to not simply pay out, as they fucking well should do. But there you go. We did it, Dad. We did the whole saga.
Right.
And then up to now, and that's where we're at. We're completely updated. That is the Lego headline. You can see why we picked it for the headlines and no other stories.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not best impressed with that story.
Fair enough.
I found it a long
but
haul.
I think what I didn't do very well was explaining the sort of Mormon connection and the police and their willful participation, potentially because they all go to the same church, perhaps, in an illegal act, and you know the persecution of Reckless Ben, really rather unfairly, and they came down on him super heavily. They've dislocated his arm. They've arrested him, pointed guns in his face, taken over his life essentially. You know, putting him through phony. You know, it was only when like he was being held in prison, not in prison, in the American sort of like jail housing, you know, the police station equivalent of like the Nick and that. So he's been held there, facing the prospect of having to be in jail for prison for at least the next 30 days and stuff. Like, it was really bad to him, and then he's had to flee to Mexico to avoid that sort of persecution over Lego bricks. Over Lego bricks. That's that thing.
You're right. That's America. Hey, Mr.
That's America for you.
Glad to see you joined. Your timing's perfect. Yeah, America. And that stuff couldn't happen here because of our laws, thank goodness.
Well, yeah, thankfully that isn't the case here, where we can't really have that sort of stuff. And if you get stuff on consignment, there's lots of laws around it that says if you mess up, you do, you know, if you take on that consignment and you're not paying anyone, it'll take a while, but you'll get through the legal system. And I think, to be fair, even in America, that's not, you know, there's a lot of these weird laws like dressing up as UPS agents and things, which is hilarious, but also really scary. We don't have that here, so. Yeah, oh God, I think even if they'd just contacted solicitors earlier, they would have had a different reaction.
Now
then, should we get on to? You can't say that twice, Dad, because of Jimmy Savile.
Oh, now then. Oh God. Okay.
You're allowed to say it once, but you can't say it twice, because like Beetlejuice, you may.
It's just, I mean, we grew up with it as kids, didn't we? Now then, twice.
Did we? I didn't.
Well, I did, didn't we? Didn't we, other people in the chat that have lived longer than 10 minutes? Yes. We did. We grew up with that shizzle. And do you want to be in my gang? That stuff. Can't even sing that now. Can't even whistle it while you work. Such as
a whole genre of like 70s and 80s music and TV and pop culture is just where did that go? Just disappeared. We don't even talk about it. Gone.
Yeah,
it's like you can have a whole genre of just awful people and their art. Oh God. Maybe we should take it back though, and it's about the art versus the artist, and we should claim the now then. We'll be the channel that does. No, I'm joking. We won't.
How about this? Andrew Luke cleans his gerbil. Poor gerbil. Okay, off on a gerbil clean. See you at 10. Is this
which, by the way?
I mean,
he's doing
he clean gerbils for a living.
He does. He cleans gerbils for a living with a little toothbrush, and he gives him like a little, you know, like a mohawk sometimes if he's feeling cheeky.
Yeah, a little chain to chain him up.
Yeah.
Fix his gerbil collar too. Well. That's incredible, amazing.
It's incredible, amazing. So I've got something all lined up here for the next part. I'm gonna go through it. Don't worry, Dad. Like I say, I'm sorry I didn't get to send you much stuff. I had to do it all beforehand, and I got it finished. I'm great with deadlines. I've got it all finished just beforehand.
It's okay.
So,
I'm a hardened professional now, winging it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know exactly what you're doing. Jump over to vehicle. Oh, pardon me. We're going to get rid of those headlines, those pesky headline things there. I'm going to take ourselves over to, if I find it, there we are. We're going to go over to our far-right files.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Get some of my feelings out.
We shall indeed. That was the wrong one entirely. God damn it, I suck at doing this, don't I? Right, here we go. Flicker chugga. So, remember in last stream where we were talking about the sort of the far right, and we were trying to identify a structure within there, and we came up with a couple of ideas and things, namely this, talking about how we've got this sort of it's a cyclical structure that also is, in tier systems. If it has tiers within it, and different people operate at different levels, and you've got to be able to recognize that to understand what's going on. And we also use this as a sort of map to explain how the grift happens and things. But I think now that we've sort of developed it a bit more and we've looked at it a bit more and we've discussed it in Discord with other people, I think I'm about ready to really make that comparison and talk about how Southampton and the unrest there, how it provides a really, really good example of how the different layers of the British far-right ecosystem interact with each other within this sort of tier system structure. And I've got examples and things that they've said. We've got content to review, all the way from mainstream populist far-right figures that we'll start with, all the way to the very bottom feeders at the end of that, which is the very lower tiers, which is the auditors, and how they function and how they all interact and how that ecosystem exists in the first place. I think it's worth our breakdown.
Yeah. No, I think you're actually onto something. Wouldn't it be cool if you could put names and faces to that stuff now? Wouldn't it?
Well, we can, isn't it? I think that's where we're at. So if we use here we go now. If we use some political figures at the top here, so we're talking like tier 1, right? So let's get used to the idea. So this is what tier 1 is. So tier 1 is the establishment figures. So at tier 1 sits the sort of top political figures with the mainstream platforms and influence. People like, the Nigel Farages, the Rupert Lowe's. They sit at the top of sort of conventional politics. And whenever they talk about and push cultural conflict, national identity, and narratives about, the far right talking points about immigration, we're talking about the far right mainstream populist figures, and of which at the moment there is mainly only two. That's the Nigel Farage and the Rupert Lowe's. What they do is when they push those figures, not only do they get it through the mainstream media, which is one of the big key parts, but that obviously has the ability to project downwards into people to cause conflict and division and fear and stuff, which ultimately fuels what they do. So following the Henry Novak case specifically, to use this as a template to help explain the sort of tier system and how the far right ecosystem works, Nigel Farage, let me share this with you because I've got examples. You can hear it from his own mouth.
Showed their fucking colours as well. Absolutely disgusting.
They did, didn't they?
To the fucking bottom. Absolutely disgusting.
It is. This was what Nigel Farage, one of the.
So
yeah.
Is this? Are you taking? Is this the bit where he said? Yeah. What he said, what the family had said, and then said, but or I think we should
exactly that.
Fucking twat. What a twat.
Think of this. The biggest fear a police officer now has going about his or her duty on the street is the fear of being reported for having acted in a way that was racially biased. That fear, now greater than dealing with a dying man living on the ground. Henry's family have responded to this in just the most extraordinarily dignified way.
Yeah.
But I suggest the rest of us respond to this.
How fucking dare he? Who the fuck does he think he is? So the family have responded with absolute fucking dignity, as they shouldn't, and they really want it to not to cause any further harm. And he says, "But what a cunt! What an absolute cunt!" Sorry for the
absolutely. No, you.
Word,
No,
but he
yeah.
deserves it. He absolutely deserves it. What a cunt!
Yeah, again, just even though his family said no.
Family have responded to this in just the most extraordinarily dignified way. But I suggest the rest of us respond to this with pure, cold rage. This is wrong. All the values and standards of living in a free country where everybody is judged equally before the law have been trashed and thrown away.
Henry wasn't. It wasn't that he was judged before the law. The dispatchers told the police that there was a racist incident. That's what they were responding to. Unfortunately, Henry wasn't in a position where he could make his own emergency call. And the criminal that attacked him manipulated that. They did what criminals do, and he manipulated it in order to try and scapegoat and get out of the punishments and the ramifications for his actions that would have come first. He's trying to politicize it, and I've got more evidence of him trying to politicize it, and the fact that he is an establishment figure.
He's a bottomless pit of shit, this bloke.
He is. Now listen to this. This is where, instead of it being a murder in which a criminal manipulated police officers, and because it obviously, in my opinion, before we get to that next bit, in my opinion, this argument should have been a case of, okay, the police are shit. They didn't do their job properly. They pulled up the back of his shirt. For anyone that's seen the footage, they pulled up the back of his shirt. They had a look, and they couldn't see any stab wounds. But of course, he was stabbed through his coat and everything, through the front and into his heart. I'm so sorry. I'm even talking about a person like so coldly like that. A human being died, and it was terrible. And the police could have done better. And there is evidence that says now that even if the police had expedited and done what they should have done, he wouldn't have lived. And that's really, really unfortunate. But that to one side, he should never have died in cuffs being read his rights. That is horrendous and it's disgusting, and nobody's life should end like that. This is what we call, and what we learned about last time when talking with Emsy on the stream, this is your systematic, systemic violence. This is, the violence of the broken down infrastructure that's bleeding out onto the people. If we had a better trained, a better funded, a proper police force that actually knew what they were doing, that was made to work to fit a population and protect the population in 2026, then these are political feelings.
But with all that said, I mean, we don't fucking. Since when do we go fucking rioting because we don't like what the police have done?
Structural violence.
I know there was a fucking a life lost and everything, but you don't go fucking tearing your own fucking places apart because something like this happens and you disagree with it. Just fucking. How fucking stupid. I mean, what's it going to end up as this? Where will this lead if this is what's going to happen every time there's a tragedy and somebody sees it as it's got the word race in it? Are we going to do this all the time? Is this Britain now? Fucking rioting every time we don't like something said or did or what?
It's not just as spontaneous as that. There is a clear structure that weaponizes these incidents and uses them as a vehicle. And what they do is they look for whether it's murder, whether it's sexual violence, or child exploitation, grooming gangs, any of that. What they do is they look at those specific crimes, all these different sort of separate individual issues and crimes, and they look at it through the lens that filters out anybody but a certain type of offender that fits a certain type of profile. I think what I'm trying to say. And they take those incidents and they use them. They don't even talk about those incidents themselves. They don't talk about and then compare them to other incidents that happen that don't have the same outcomes, where the offenders are reversed perhaps, and like we saw a stabbing at a university campus meet headlines recently. We were talking about it. That didn't cause riots like this because obviously the offenders weren't, it wasn't the other way around. And it's pure weaponization, but there is a structure to it, and I think we've identified it. So the way it works is obviously, like I said, you have your tier one, your establishment figures. They're the people who create the news, who do this, who they make comments like this, and as we're about to see here about how white lives matter too, and all this stuff, which then becomes mainstream news. that then feeds into the street level influencers and agitators, you people like Tommy Robinson, and these exist at tier 2 of the system. That is the cyclical structure of the far right that feeds into itself. So this layer consists of like people like Danny Tomo, Tommy Robinson, Lawrence Fox. These people turn political narratives into activism, and through their rallies, their speeches, their live streams, social media content, they encourage supporters to take action in the street. So Nigel Farage doesn't directly call for action in the street. Not only, I mean, let's forget the incitement thing, although I absolutely would put a lot of his language in the incitement bracket, at least stochastically, but definitely. Yeah, definitely in the incitement bracket, but he doesn't actually activate the people to, he's not the mobilizer. So tier 2 are your mobilizers, like your Tommy Robinson. So you've got your establishment figures, your mobilizers, and then underneath that, you've got your fringe political organizers, right? So organizations and organizers. These are like your Nick Tenconis and stuff. UKIP is a really good example of this because they also took advantage of this situation. They used the fact that they benefited because Nigel Farage said what he said, which made enough mainstream news for Tommy Robinson to be able to take advantage of this divisive and frankly insightful rhetoric and hijack it into mobilization of people. Then Nick Tenconi takes advantage of that situation so that he can then network and push his brand of politics and his brown shirt
you're getting it
ideology. Yeah. Exactly. Right. At which point, when they go to these events, there's a lot of folk there that are really hardline, small numbers, but a lot more than we want, but still small numbers that aren't quite ready to join somewhere like UKIP because it's not hardline enough for them. Which is now where tier 4 comes into it: the extremist and neo-Nazi organisations, your Aryan Front, your figures like Ryan Ferguson and all of them. And we are going to start this
White Vanguard and that fucking shower.
Your White Vanguard, all of that stuff. Your Mark Collette of your patriotic alternatives and your national actions, your Jack Renshaws, who are in jail directly still, chatting to and communicating with figures like Ryan Ferguson. So that's organizations like that operate in that tier. They take off the stragglers that otherwise, don't fit in with the, they're at this event. It's an issue that they care about, but the language that they're hearing isn't quite extreme enough for them. So they filter out into that. And then you get at the bottom of the tier system, the bottom feeders. This is the auditors, and you're like, you're sort of right-wing fucking vloggers and things. Pardon me.
Just before you move on, I do notice the chief's in with comments saying people should react with rage at the incident, though. So it's nice to see the chief being one up for violence. It makes a complete turnaround, doesn't it?
Yeah, instead of unity and peace, it's we should react with rage. What we should do?
React with rage. What a load of toss, divvy.
We should react with systemic change. How about that? We change the police system. We change the system that we've got now. And I'm not even talking about late stage.
You don't do that by shouting, take the fucking knee at a bunch of coppers. What a load of fucking useless nonsense that was.
What a whole circle they did there. We'll talk. We'll get into that. But at the bottom, the people that were there, like helping to these people at the bottom, this tier 5, what the way they exist within this ecosystem. These auditors, these self-proclaimed auditors. Auditors is a spectrum; they're not all the same. But these far-right vloggers and stuff specifically, they sit at the bottom, and what they do is they interact with every single level. Amplifying their rhetoric to millions of people across the internet. They amplify the rhetoric, the views, and the figures. So they'll work directly with tier 1. I say directly, they'll make content directly about it where, we'll see auditors walking around in Restore Britain sandwich boards. Hannah, can a sandwich board be worn by a
twat? Penis, please, Hannah?
Hannah, can a woman have a penis?
Can I have one?
But, can I have one too? Why won't you look me in the face? Hannah.
You've caught it like a bug.
It is, yeah. I'm being possessed by the soul of Edge of the Matrix. Hannah. Get a sandwich board, have a foot long.
Hannah, down here. You're looking over me.
Absolutely. But no, these to go back to it though, so these channels and stuff, they go through with their framing and narrative. They take all of the previous tiers above them. They rely on all of them for their content because obviously, you know, these are the far right creators, the Tommy Robinsons. They work directly with them. So you've got your AYs and things. I believe that Tommy Robinson, this is just my opinion, I've got no proof exactly, but I believe that Tommy Robinson is the pay pig behind AY, you know, his sugar daddy. But, you know, we'll see. That's yet to be seen, but we'll, you know, that's where we're at with that. And you know, they do work directly with them. They amplify their content, they interview them, they appear in each other's content. And then the people at tier 3, your Nick Tenconis, they rely on the auditors as well because they turn up at events. And even though they can only mobilize such a small audience, which is why they rely so heavily on tier 2, who relies heavily on the mainstream to mobilize their audience, which is directed by tier 1. Because they do that, you know what? I've lost my train of thought there for a second. It gets really in depth, doesn't it? Tier 3 exists because tier 2 and tier 1 do, and it all works down that way. Mark Collette's in the tier 4 and everything else, they all work directly with auditors. We've seen DP audits working hand in hand with Ryan Ferguson, self-confessed neo-Nazi. We've seen them at the Nick Tenconi protest. We've seen them with Tommy Robinson and pushing directly reform ideas. You know, wearing sandwich boards with their policies and things on there, you know, millions must go, aim high, vote low. They're doing activism for them, and they rely on all the other previous tiers, and all the other previous tiers rely on them to do this stuff. It's cyclical and it goes on, but I'm going to prove to you now with a series that that's how this works. So here's an example of tier 1 setting the mainstream narrative and turning this event into an insidious vehicle for into a vehicle for insidious ideological reasons.
We need a change in culture. Enough of anti-white prejudice, a promotion of the idea that white lives matter just as much as black lives, an end to DEI and positive.
It was a Sikh person that it wasn't even like what you would traditionally call a black person, even though that concept is stupid and outdated, but it was a Sikh person. But there he is turning it into a culture war, into a black and white thing. And he's providing the legitimate talking points for people like Tommy Robinson to hijack. This is his speech to the crowds at the Henry Novak demonstration. Remember that this problem is and exclusively should be an issue that is political failings. We have a falling standard of living. Crimes in general are going up. People are struggling. People are really suffering at the moment. And the police as well are also struggling because of the systemic violence, because of the systemic violence issues that we have, and the fact that they're suffering without funding and everything else. We've got a more aggressive police force that isn't doing their job properly, that isn't trained properly, that's overworked, underpaid. It's ridiculous. And instead of it being about that, it's been hijacked and turned into a race culture thing, passed down from tier 1 to allow tier 2 to mobilize people out on the streets.
First of all, every one of you, well done for not remaining silent. Well done for coming out.
And remember, Henry Novak's family asked for none of this. In fact, they asked for the direct opposite.
Henry's murder is that I've spoke about this for 20 years. I said you'll be a victim of a race gang, i.e. Pakistani Muslims will be beating up a white kid. The police will turn up, they jump on the white kids. Every time, I've seen it my whole life, they jump on the white kids. What the whole world...
That isn't true. That really isn't true. And there are statistics that prove that people are disproportionately affected in terms of ethnic groups. That's not white people. Yeah, absolutely.
We know
he is a liar.
All my life, I've seen black people having to take it. I've seen from bashing, all that stuff has happened in my life. I don't know where he's got this. They've always jumped on the white man business, but there you go.
The police have famously long been, I mean, they're getting better at it, sure, but there's still loads of systemic, racial issues that have ingrained, systemic racism within the system itself. And we do see like disproportionate actions taken by police against certain minorities in, areas like, London and things. This is a problem that is being worked on and is better than it has been, but it needs to improve. But at no point have white people as an ethnic group been the target of police. The right-wing thumbs that have been operated up and down. Yeah, of course it is. Those guys are famously anti-white. I remember now. Like, this is just absolute bullshit, and this is just tier 2 trying to whip people up because this is how he makes his money.
That's his job.
Nigel Farage. Yeah,
his job,
yeah, it's his job. That's his position in tier 2. Nigel Farage's way of making money is to push far-right populist talking points that the billionaire donors want him to. People like Chris Harborn. Let's not talk about that $5 billion in crypto. We will be soon, but yeah. Like, you know, you get the idea. That's how tier 1 operates, and they rely on all of the bullshit from the ground and, you know, the things that get people angry, the racism. I'm not even saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying that they benefit when things like this get weaponized, which is why they weaponize it, so they can directly benefit from it. So that's tier 1 and how that operates, which directly helps tier 2 and how they operate. Here's Tommy Robinson being able to rack up a bunch of people to be able to help him get some more money so we can rack up a bunch of lines. I mean, I'm joking. Lines, I mean, for the next speech.
Lie down
That's
in
what
the
I mean.
sun somewhere, wherever he hides.
Is lying down in the sun, yeah. You know when he's running from ISIS in Spain?
To a beach. Yes.
Yeah. Spanish beaches and pools and
Spanish beaches.
Folders now seen in Henry's video is what we all know anyway. It's a different treatment for white people compared to...
No, it wasn't a different treatment for white people at all. That isn't how that happened. That isn't what happened. Like, see, people like Tommy Robinson have created an environment and managed to blag enough people into thinking that that is an issue in this country, which it isn't. There isn't a two-tier system that's structured against white people in the UK. That's preposterous. We are the people that built this system. Though it even damages it damages everybody, this system. It's a class thing, but they've managed to look at this through the lens of race, and that's what they've brought out. And it's such a fucking shame. But no, the dispatchers told the police that this was a racist incident because that's how it was reported to them. And the reason it was reported to them like that was because a criminal was doing everything he could to lie, manipulate, and scheme to get his way out of being in prison, which is exactly what he was doing. I don't understand how they read it as anything else. And so he took advantage of an environment created by people like Tommy Robinson to use this particular manipulation tactic. And unfortunately, the police are so shit at what they do. They went, it's not two-tier. The only real two-tier system is the fact that millionaires don't get this treatment, that billionaires don't get this treatment. That's the real two-tier policing. It's nothing to do with race. These people need to get more class consciousness. But then again, class consciousness doesn't put money in your pocket, does it, Tommy?
To non-whites, and we've seen this spread through every single institution in our country.
That's a lie, and in fact, all the evidence and all the empirical evidence would suggest the opposite. That institutionally within the UK, ethnic minorities struggle more than white people do in industries to be able to get recognised, and they're facing a lot of systemic violence that's uniquely thrown at them. It's absolutely insane.
I can't breathe.
Sorry, Dad.
No, I'm just saying it is indeed. It's fucking insane. And,
taking reality and inverting it.
I guess in a democracy, we've got to put up with these fucking idiots. Up to a point, haven't we? But surely, I mean, these guys are bouncing down that line of fucking getting their collars felt or not, aren't they? They are so obviously actively encouraging people to get angry. When does it step into illegality?
It's about the direct. If you're directly inciting, like indirect incitement to violence, like stochastic incitement, isn't necessarily a criminal offence. But direct incitement is, and like Nigel Farage, as much as people think that he is incitement, and it is insightful what he said. The pure cold rage,
because he's a fucking MP, isn't he? He's allowed to say that shit and get away with it.
Not just that, but he chose his language really rather carefully. So if you look at the definition of cold rage, it means a sort of like introspective rage. Like, yeah, sure, get angry. Let's like within, but not outwardly. Yeah, but it was the framing and everything else, and it all comes into account. And they know that words can be weapons, and they know that the impact that it has. And in fact, his career depends on that impact. Sitting at tier 1 of the far right ecosystem. And so I'm just making some changes here to the thing. I'm going to put subscribers only mode on here because I've seen a bunch of cool new people in the chat. But yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe and you'll be able to get to communicate with us like that.
How very dare you not subscribe?
I know, right? Awesome and stuff. We're getting there. So yeah, subscribe if you can, hit the like if you can, and share if you can. It's all free and it all helps out. And yeah, we really appreciate the love and peace that everyone's showing. So chill out, relax in the chat, and we'll get through this now. So we're sort of at the tier 2 area, and we're just going to skip through some of what Tommy Robinson was saying. What won't be shown in this as well is that instead of talking again about the core issue of police failures or, systemic failures that led to the police failures that affect us all, not just, not disproportionately white people. It's stupid. It affects everybody the same.
He's just like
these systemic police failures.
He's like some fucking vulture just waiting for something to happen. And as soon as it does, he fucking hops off the fence and starts fucking tearing into the carcass. Anytime there's something he can make something of, he's on it. Fucking bloke. There you go. Fucking
it's
bloke.
Sad, but it's so fucking true.
Yeah.
The crying, the pleading. Do you know what's insane right now? Is you see that scumbag's brother who should be charged for perverting the course of justice. He's fucking right. He wasn't handcuffed in the police car. He wasn't handcuffed in the police station. They took him in the police station.
So much to say, mate.
Again, I did what I wanted to. I just wanted to come here as a spectator in the demonstration. The lads have done a great job. They've been organising these demonstrations.
Yeah, you look just like a spectator in the demonstration, shouting out your fucking shit.
Demonstrations in this city for a very long time, yeah.
So there he is, pre-riot on the steps there, doing exactly what his family didn't want them to do, which was to turn this into a big old fucking excuse to just shift some
and that's hardly cold rage, is it? That's hardly
Yeah.
what I would describe as cold rage. That's fucking
No, it's not.
victory.
It is, and he's talking about there. He's framing this to be because also there are videos and things as well from around this time where he's conflating this with Islam and everything else, trying to slip in his Islamophobia and all that other stuff. But what he's doing is he's building on the work that Farage did. So Farage does this stuff, the establishment does it, it becomes mainstream news, and then people at tier 2 like Tommy Robinson and all the other speakers that we saw here, like Lawrence Fox, we saw Danny Tomo right next to this guy the whole time. That all these people feed on it and stuff. So now we're going to move over to, I think we could probably skip tier 3 entirely, the Nick Tenconis and things like that, just because we don't really need to see what they're up to. It's all much of the same thing. They're just, tier 3 are riding on the back of tier 2, much in the way that tier 2 ride on the back of tier 1. And what they're doing is they're allowing...
What a band that would make.
But yeah, and so what the tier 3 people do, the Nick Tenconis, and that they rely on Tommy Robinson to be able to mobilize people because they can't. They're the mobilizers, and they network there and try and get some of the Tommy Robinson stragglers, and in turn the far right, the extremist sort of cells and the neo-Nazis, those people grab the stragglers that are too hardline, have too hardline values that will align with them, but not with the Nick Tenconis. I'm not doing a great job of explaining my position here, but I think, am I making sense at least? Is it all, is it all feeding into each other?
The structure within this chaos is becoming clear now, isn't it? We can see quite easily between, we can, and the people, guys that have been following us through this, can see quite clearly now the structure of the far right and how it's, it's not as organic as it's made out to be. It's not as fucking, it's funded, and they accuse the left of being funded all the time, don't they? But it's funded, it's properly funded. There's so much dosh willing about. But like you say, the structure of these stage, phase 1, 2, 3, absolutely got it spot on. You can see who's working above who, who's telling who what to fucking say. Yeah, it's becoming quite clear now, isn't it? I would say, as an insider looking in.
Right. Now we've got KC, and is it like? Did you say 19 minutes in, just towards the end? We've got examples of.
Sunshine Man. So yeah, this I just happened to bump into this guy, this bloke online. He's KC Imageworks. I hope he doesn't mind us showing a little bit of his thing.
Is he an auditor? Because I can't.
I don't know if he's an auditor so much as a vlogger, mate. He seemed very, not particularly, obviously quite upset by what had been going on, but he didn't seem, like an outrageous right wing or anything like that. He just seemed to be concerned and wanting to record it. To be fair, that's how that's my impression of the guy. It's the first time I've seen him.
And this was in Liverpool, and this contains stuff with Ryan Ferguson, I believe, as well. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, you see these little kids here?
Where? Oh, okay, I see
These
this
young
now.
kids.
There you go.
There's a guy there with the glasses, and then you'll see him like these guys, the ones behind. Oh, look who's there. Well.
So this is also them trying to do their recruitment thing, trying to blend in with everyone else on the back of this is tier 2. Tier 2 in this organization obviously also comes raise the colours, people like Ryan Bridge and stuff, which we'll talk about raise the colours in just a second as well. But I'll skip back here.
This is the level where it's violence as well. So what got me about this, can I just lead you into this?
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah, when this cop, you see these young kids about, when this copper finally, he goes in, right? And he's followed in by a few of these young kids who are, oh, look at this, take the knee nonsense, so he's followed in by some of these young lads who are chanting, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. And I didn't see everybody that had walked in there. And then the chant suddenly changes to white man, fight back. White man, fight back. And guess whose face is in there and teaching these kids to say that? Our mate Ryan Ferguson, everybody's pet Nazi.
He's one of the tier 2 operatives, the neo-Nazi sort of cells. He's also in direct contact with Jack Renshaw, the paedophile neo-Nazi that's in prison for attempted terrorism.
Nazi, it's not.
Yeah, he is a self-professed Nazi. We've shown loads on him. Yeah, to be fair. So so they're also riding on the back of this.
Here he is teaching kids to shout racial slurs, racial things like this. White man.
He's got nothing to do with the police. Hey, he said to listen to. No, leave it. Let the kids down. Let the kid's hand was right. Let the car go. The kid's hand was right. I know, but the kid's hand was right when he put him in cuffs. Will you take the knee for Henry now? Take the knee.
At 19, at 19.
You'll be the people's favourite policeman, I promise you. Please, mate. Please be the one that stands with us. Please, mate. Take the knee for Henry. Please, mate. Take the knee with us. Take the knee. Come on, mate. Come on, take the knee.
I don't know when people kneeling in front of you. How weird is that?
Fucking shit out. His pension was for us. Absolute disgrace. His pension was for us. Disgrace. We gave you a chance, lad. We gave you a chance. Shame.
So right,
they take the knee stuff.
The bit coming up now that I find quite disturbing was the next bit, the next few minutes.
Yeah, and they take the knee stuff, as weird as it is. I mean, they're displaying their anger at police about, and I kind of almost get on board with that to a point. I think that, there's no reason, there's nothing wrong with being active. I mean, that's horrible, just, trying to shout people down and scream at individuals and things. I get it. They've got justifiable anger at the police, because of the systemic failures that they've gone through and that. And so, and their involvement within this murder. I understand that rage, I do, but you can't be chasing individual people down like that, screaming in their face, demanding things like that it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. I just wanted to say that before we moved on. It's just, it's wrong.
You can never trust a busy with your kids. You can never trust a busy. Never trust a busy with your kids.
I mean, this is the standard of people you're dealing with.
I gave you a chance.
It is, yeah.
I gave you a chance to stand with us. I showed you respect. Shave off, kids. Shave off, kids.
So there we go. Just a bunch. Look, there's just kids going in. There he is. I didn't see him slip in first time. I just saw.
There he is, Ryan Ferguson, first one in.
Yeah, I just saw these young lads, and then they go in. Shame on you.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
You know where that's come from.
So there he is. It was the first voice we heard saying "White Man Fight Back" was his. He's leading the chant now of "White Man Fight Back" inside a police station with children, with young kids and teens and stuff around him. And this is what Tier 2 do. So they thanks to the hype in the mainstream hype generated by Nigel Farage, and because of the media and their input too, by helping Tier 1 because of their influence and position within the British political system. In Parliament specifically, adds legitimacy to it. So it spreads out through mainstream media and then everyone hears about it. It frightens and scares a lot of people. So Tier 2 do what they do and try to mobilize some of these scared people and take advantage of that division so they can push in and use that incident or whatever it is at the time as a vehicle for their ideological gains, right? They just push it through like that. You know, this is where it now begins to get properly racialized, like out on the street. Then you see the Tier 3s, the people like Nick Tenconi who tag along to these events to do some, to the mobilizers events because they can't actually mobilize that many people themselves. And then you get people like Ryan Ferguson, who's taken hype from all of that. And the people who would otherwise look at UKIP and think that's not as hardline enough for me, will now come over to his cause. In fact, he's farming from that stuff so much that he's also now got kids involved. And I would argue this amounts to grooming in a similar way to the way he was groomed by now proscribed terrorist group National Action. And he's still continuing to be involved with them even now as an adult, as he has ongoing conversations with and contact with Jack Renshaw, the paedophile and terrorist that was convicted for plotting to murder a British MP. It's so bad, and he's wearing his Raise the Colours t-shirt as well, which is great because another example of the Tier 2 lot are Raise the Colours guys themselves, who, by the way, as a company, Ryan Bridge, their main founder and the face of it so far, is wanted in Spain. Is it, Dad?
I believe so. He's wanted in Spain for multi-million-pound
business fraud, holiday fraud. Yeah,
we're getting holiday makers people who've been on holiday to then say that the food was bad, or the room was bad, or the service, whatever. Multi-million-pound fraud.
And one of the other founding members has got himself into a bit of legal trouble. What was his name? Something Allison. I can't remember his name. Do you remember what he was in trouble for, though?
Oh, that'll be murder. Is that the one?
That'll be murder. Yeah. But just remember, though, Operation Raise the Colours is a peaceful, harmless thing. Ignore the fact that Ryan Bridge is also under investigation for a hit and run with the Raise the Colours van and cherry picker. Let's ignore all that too. But it's peaceful and unity, right?
As well, these are guys insisting on saving their culture, which seems to be a culture of thievery and lawlessness. So that part of the culture, I'm not so keen on. I'll be perfectly honest. I'll be frank.
No. But this is Tier 2 networking now with, random people outside that are angry and stuff, and they're catching the stragglers at the smaller events and things, riding on the back of the mobilization from Tommy Robinson and upwards and everything else. And they remain to be small, but, an active and violent network as well. This man isn't a stranger to being arrested, being in prison and engaging with violent paedophile terrorists that are in prison currently in the UK.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
So that's an example of your Tier 2, right? With your young kids and things. Yeah. That's your example of your Tier 2. Now we're going to provide some examples of your Tier 1. This is your sort of self-proclaimed auditors and your far-right vloggers and things like that. Now, I'm not saying that Casey is one. He may be a neutral person, but what we saw right there, I'm sure if there were auditors and things at the time, if we'd have gone anyone else that we do recognise, we could confidently say that content, that chant, instead of just being heard by that small group in there, thanks to the joy that is auditors, that chant and chants just like it and all these other insidious ideologies, instead of just being there on the day or on people's personal social medias, they are spread throughout social media, specifically YouTube, and are reached to millions, possibly even tens of millions combined by the auditor community. This community, who exist in Tier 1, are the bottom feeders. They rely on all of the rhetoric that's been spilled out by everybody else to make their living and to get their memberships and stuff. And these people are as follows. We're talking about like your DP audits, Paul Dunbar. We're talking about like Scott Chesterman, who, these folks, DP audits is a great example of somebody who relies on all of the tiers above him, and he's perfect for highlighting how tier 1 is the backbone and the bottom sort of like they are the bottom feeders, but they are vital to the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Because what they do, they wear tier 1. They literally wear in sandwich boards on their bodies. DP Audits, Paul Dunbar, and like Scott Chesterman, they wear tier 1 rhetoric, which is like, you know, Rupert Lowe's, you know, send them back, millions must go, aim high, vote low slogans and all that. They also platform and do a lot of work for Ryan Ferguson in terms of, you know, his publicity and everything else, and getting him out there to, you know, wider, bigger audiences and things. They work directly with those neo-Nazis. He's not just like sort of a little bit associated with, they are almost part and parcel these days. And we'll give you examples and we'll go through their content. And these guys, they rely on the riots and things like that. You know, once people have been activated by they've been scared into, you know, they've got loads of fear by tier 1 in the mainstream media. They then get mobilized by tier 2. They end up either joining tier 3 groups who are there to network, or worse, they end up at these fringe neo-Nazi extremist cells and end up with them, all while the auditors are there recording and broadcasting everything for millions to go, so that when the people are talking about these things, it's relevant, it's in the ecosystem, these far-right talking points, and then tier 1 can repeat these talking points and make them legit to go through the mainstream media. It's cyclical, it's a cycle. Let's have a look at tier 6 now, or tier 5, sorry. What do you think so far, Dad? Is this all it all is making sense, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, it is.
Is this going to land as the interview on Turn Left, do you think?
Well, you own it. You tell me. Don't you own it?
So,
Turn Left. I believe it's yours.
Oh, apparently, yeah. That's another one that people have said that I work for or with, which I don't, and I'd love to at some point someday. But like, all these people that these far righters, that, you know, these auditors and these extremists, and all these people that they say that we work for, like, I'd love to be associated with them. Sadly, I'm just not. You know, we're just a little YouTube channel trying to do our thing.
You could cook together 3 times, see if that works. Picked up. Oh well.
Right, we've got the DP audit stuff here, so I'll just show you an example of an auditor at tier 1, and then we'll look at this and AY and everything else. So these are individuals who make money by producing content that is by amplifying content and rhetoric that is being produced by all the tiers above them, whether it's the mainstream populist far-right movements, figures like Nigel Farage and Rupert Lowe, all the way down to people like, as we'll see here, Ryan Ferguson. I mean, do you know what? Even just there on the home, Ryan Ferguson was in his... So look at that. That's got thousands of views there. Is that Ryan Ferguson there? I think it is. Let's have a quick gander. So...
Yeah, I think it is.
Just as an example of the kind of thing that they do.
Oh, the Patriots are marching.
He's referring to Ryan Ferguson.
Patriots and lefties. We're either patriots or lefties. Fucking bloke.
I'll blur faces in videos anyway. But yeah, look. We're voting Restore Britain. Aim high.
So this is the tier 1, the content thing, you know, the tier 1 rhetoric.
Straight into the wine.
Yeah, and this is a love not hate demonstration.
The childish fucking hate mongers, the pair of them. It's just
absolutely
horrible.
They are. Now, here we see him also amplifying the tier 2 figures, and we've got evidence of them amplifying also.
They call anybody that works at a hotel or anything like that, they get called traitors by these two who've never done fuck all for their country, as far as I can tell. Yeah. Fucking arrogant.
No, they haven't. And these guys exist to support the tiers, to be the sort of YouTube algorithmic face. It's a separate conversation to talk about the algorithm and its role and YouTube's lack of moderation, but also the stochastic nature and the vicious side of it. No, I didn't organise that either.
No, we own it. We do own it.
It's honestly terrible. It's terrible. So yeah, Like, you know, these guys, what they do is they serve to support all the previous tiers, their rhetoric, and to be able to cash in on the hate and division that's been spewed by the far right. So we saw at the top, we saw Nigel Farage with his, you know, white lives matter. This is an attack on white people. We should matter more than black people. Not matter as much as black people, even though the system isn't structured like that. But it's the framing, right? And the mainstream framing.
Yeah,
I'll be right back. All of these, yeah. No worries, you got to do your thing. So they've got the mainstream frame in there from tier 1 that passes down to tier 2, which allows them to mobilize and capitalize and turn this into a, you know, they say the things that on the street level that the establishment figures can't do and say, which is that the police are treating minorities better than they treat us. There's a 2-tier system and they're treating blacks better than whites, even though this was an incident of a Sikh person who wouldn't traditionally be described as black, I don't think. But anyway, it wasn't that case. Yes, there was police failings. Yes, they suck ass. And yes, a race card was pulled, as it happens, in the traditional, you know, not racist sense that you use the word race card. Yeah. You know, it was a disgusting failing by the police. They should have done better. And, you know, sadly for Henry Novak, he died in cuffs. And that is an absolute shame. But this wasn't a race war issue that it's been now framed into by the structure of the far right. And I'm hoping that you can see how and why it gets turned into that. So you get your Nigel Farages who put it out into the mainstream. Then you get your people worried in that, so the mobilizers at tier 2, you know, after the establishment figures have said their thing, they can mobilize people, they can get them ready to their cause, and that's how they make money. Then you get your tier 3 people. How they make money in membership is by relying on the tier before them, so that, you know, they can do that. And then the same with tier 2, they rely on the tier before them not being radical enough, and so the stragglers that would have gone there will now filter through to them, and they get numbers, power, money that way. And then all of them are supported by tier 1, who depends on their far right rhetoric, so they can be the activists and the vloggers that, you know, produce the content that helps draw more people's eyes into it, which can generate more clicks and cash for them. That's how the system works. That's how the tier system is, in my eyes anyways, operating. And here's a little visual to help you if it does. Yeah, and tier 6 isn't really a tier. It's just talking about the extremist content and the evil neo-Nazi speak, and how that stuff gains tractions on platforms like YouTube because of the vicious algorithm that they have here and the lack of moderation and everything else. It goes like wildfire online. The algorithm loves this offensive content that's, you know, right on the edge. They absolutely love it. They love confrontation, police involved, shouting, screaming. The algorithm doesn't care if you're upset or engaged or radicalized even. They only care that you're watching. And why would the billionaires that own, you know, that own YouTube want to change it? Because it makes them a lot of money at the moment. So, you know, don't fix what isn't broken, I guess.
Yeah. But
right. Now, do you think we need to give any more examples and look into any more of these auditing things? Is there anything specifically you wanted me to jump into, Dad, with this?
No, not really. I just wanted you to see that. I did want people to see that that thing with the chanting. I mean, that should be fucking arrestable, surely, to goodness. I mean, the damage he's doing with stuff like that is fucking. It's going to take a lot of putting right, mate. By the time these fuckers are finished. But no, you know, that's me strangely satisfied, I guess.
Absolutely. I think.
Oh, there was a thing about AY, was there? Did you mention AY? Somebody in the chat.
I did mention AY. We did kind of look at his footage last time and things, and you know, obviously he was stood right next to the tier 2 speakers, exactly as we said. You know, amplifying their content and things, relying on their narrative and the framing of everything else, and while also at street level, you know, being there with people. And afterwards, he was trying to run defense for it as well on the Stochastic Clubhouse panel, which fits into the tier 1 far right scene very neatly. The Society X panel.
Yeah.
And he was there being like, "What riot? What are you on about?" It was like, "Oh my god, this guy is such a stereotypical."
Yeah. And then his next words were after that, "What riot?" were, "What about that lad that got the police beat up?" That's straight into the whataboutism without even, and he still hadn't recognised that
something like that, wasn't it?
A riot. You know what I mean? Before he'd even admitted it was a riot, he was playing whataboutism.
And of course,
terrible behaviour. Earning his shekels, mate. Earning his money.
Yeah, doing this thing. When it comes to to AY and all that. They're the sort of like they're the bottom tier operatives that exist exclusively because the tiers above them exist, who exist because they do, and the reason they've grown. You know what I mean? One feeds into the other. It's an ecosystem, and I think that if what we could do to counter it is moderation on YouTube. Like if they just got to grips and deplatformed and demonetized this stuff, it wouldn't be a thing anymore. Like, you know what I mean? If like PayPal and a few of these other avenues that they use to generate funds, because at one point when AY was demonetized after the Channel 4 documentary about him, he was proclaiming this wasn't about the money, while everyone else in his chat was like, please donate to this PayPal of AY. Yeah. And then he was like, it's not about money. I'm going to set up a kick, right? And I'm going to get it out over there. Why not stick to YouTube where you were demonetized? You weren't deplatformed, you were just demonetized because advertisers didn't. But now that he's monetized, he's back on, YouTube's all popping and it's great for him. And while he was, this just to further prove again, while he was at the protest, he was turned his camera to his phone to show people how fast his audience was growing. This is while bricks were being thrown at officers. They love this violence. They are the stochastic instigators that create this violence with their framing and narrative of invasion and illegal immigrants and how these people are uniquely a dangerous threat to women and children. And they push these fucking bullshit that people like Tommy Robinson and everyone else makes up, which, by the way, leads us into the next video that we're about to debunk because he does it there. But they do all that shit and they're doing it all exclusively so that they can profit off it, right? It's not that they necessarily even believe this stuff. They just want the money, the fucking cash. It's honestly despicable soul selling stuff.
Yeah. Can you believe it? Somebody, we were talking about, the riot and stuff, and somebody with the fucking name here, Common Sense, says, I would call it high spirits, not a riot. I don't think you understand what was going on. Common Sense. High spirits over somebody dying like that. Okay. If you saw it as high spirits, I think you might need to turn your telly on its side or something because you're not seeing properly.
I'd rather, in the smart words of our good friend and moderator D Witt, I say good friend. I mean, parasocially speaking, of course, he's a cool dude. I've got a lot of respect for.
He's a real dude, yeah. We like Mr. D.
Yeah, a lot of respect for this dude. Yes. Why do we have to argue over whether it is or isn't a riot? Let's look at the definition and the actual definition of it in criminal law. A riot is a public disturbance, check, involving specific numbers of individuals, typically 3 or more in the US and 12 or more in the UK, check, who gather collectively and use threatening or unlawful violence for a common purpose. Check. 11 officers were injured, check. Causing an ordinary bystander to fear for their safety. Check. People in those houses were terrified. Check. Yeah.
Whose houses, whose gardens they fucking ripped up and threw at the police? Where do they think the fucking bricks came from? People's garden
whose bins were set on fire.
Damaging people's fucking property and shit. Yeah. High spirits, my ass.
A little rant. Is it a little rant?
So after, I'm sorry.
Cunt, that's what you are, not a little rant.
After making the speech on the steps, and rather than sifting through the whole thing and picking out every word, 1, because I don't want to get copyright struck, 2, because I don't want to platform everything he says. I want to do it in a decent way, and 3, I'm confident that he said it and I've heard it, so I can just say this. But fact check me if you will. I mean, I'm not saying I'm wrong. I'm definitely not. I'm really certain that I'm not, rather. But he actually was making a conflation between Sikh people and Muslims when he was.
Oh, of course, yes. And then the very next day, he had to he straight back up and retracting it.
Well, listen to what he does say, because he also says a few other things in here, which I've researched, by the way. It's not true.
I just think it's important. Look, a horrific murder, and I'm going to get a load of backlash on this from wankers. Yeah? The horrific murder of Henry by a Sikh. Yeah, that man doesn't represent Sikhs. He wasn't religiously taught to do that murder. He's betrayed his own community. He's betrayed his faith. I've spent years getting to know the Sikh community. They are a wonderful community. Yeah, and I see the comments saying they've got to go, and they've all got to go. Yeah, I just think, do you know what? All you people that are saying that, where the fuck were you 10 years ago? Where the fuck were you when we were doing EDL anyway? There's so many people now.
When we were doing the EDL, I love the way he just slips that in, like, oh, you remember when we were doing that good thing, that good EDL thing, like, Oh my God. Like, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, the English Defence League, right? So
only you'd have been there with me in the EDL, I could have been king of the world by now. King of the
it's highly
fucking world.
regarded. It's a far-right Islamophobic street protest movement founded in Luton by people like Tommy Robinson, and it was formed around the football hooligan network in Luton at that area, and obviously around football hooliganism at that time, broadly speaking. It was a response to a demonstration by an Islamist extremist group. They say, but it was based in Islamophobia, and Tommy Yaxley Lennon is the one that founded or led at least, but it's a single issue group that focused on Islamophobia. It targeted Muslims, immigrants. We all know what the EDL is. That history lesson over. That's the EDL.
Spouting out a lot of shit where the foundations were built for you to even feel like you can say that shit. And then you're...
Yes, that's right, Tommy. You are the reason.
Yes,
you are the person that
created the world again now.
He's like, never forget. I'm the reason why you could be a bit more racist in public. You never forget who got you that position, right? Yeah. Right?
Bunch of fascist slags.
You bugger! You nicked my media asset.
You want to have a dig at me because I don't want to deport Sikhs. Yeah, not just don't want to deport Sikhs. I've travelled their temples. You couldn't meet a nicer community. You couldn't. Yeah, hard-working, family.
He loves them. He wouldn't. I don't know. Make up some lies about their criminal involvement in, like murders and chopping people up, and he wouldn't say anything like that. Foreshadowing, nudge, nudge.
He knows better than that.
They are the biggest owners of properties and businesses. They respect our country. They're very religious when they're at home, pretty much.
That's also revealing. When they're at home, they're religious. When they're at home,
pretty much.
It's like of course, keep that shit to yourself, and we ain't got a problem, right, Tommy? That's exactly it. Yeah. He's like, they're great people. I love their religion because they don't know fuck all about it.
When he says fit in, he means they go home, they shut the doors, and you don't see him again. That means fit in to these guys.
Absolutely, it does. Yeah, assimilation. Resistance is futile.
They get involved. And Churchill promised them, because 88,000 Sikhs died wearing their turban, and Churchill promised them, you will forever be free to wear that turban in our country, forever. Yeah, he made a promise to the Sikhs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people like Tommy and the people that he inspires for, and his ilk throughout history and beyond, have been attacking people in turbans that are Sikhs famously. In fact, that protest that we saw by what's his face, was that in I saw there was a protest in Oldbury either today or ever about this incident, which pisses me off so much, because speaking of Sikh people and things, it also happens to be the site of a racially motivated sexual assault on a Sikh person who, they were targeted because of the color of their skin. They were told to fuck off back home, even though they were fucking born here. I hate it when this guy now is being like, yeah, we always differentiate between these people. And Churchill said you can wear your turban, but my lot, people of my ilk, we will attack you for it, and do horrible things, and then have protests in areas where, it's the ripple effects of that sexually motivated rape that happened in Oldham. It fucking hell. I honestly, it's just Oldbury. I'm so sorry, I've mixed that up from Oldbury. It's just they take the piss. These guys, honestly, they're not full of fucking. They're not short of irony and fucking like piss takery, shit housery. God damn it, these people are the lowest of the low.
Sikhism is a warrior race formed to protect against Islam. I just think
not true.
I find it really
not true. That isn't true. That's a lie.
Made multiple comments on this.
He's just talking.
That is absolute. Yeah,
just talking shit.
I'm a little bit. I don't even know what to say. They were not formed to fight Islam. That is not what they were at all. Like the history of Sikhs. In fact, I'm just going to look it up now. Sikhism is an independent, distinct religion founded on original spiritual principles, not a reactionary movement against fucking Muslims, as this dickhead is trying to tell us. And you know, Sikh history does include significant. I'm reading here now. There are. This is on Reddit at the moment. Sikhism and its history there. I'm reading that, yeah, of course, there were many conflicts with the ruling Mughal Empire, who were Muslims. This is history that I'm not familiar with, but even I knew that this wasn't founded to fight Islam, fuck's sake.
Oh.
And those battles were fought against tyranny and political oppression, not against Islam itself. It's funny how they remodel history, and a quick Google would show you that isn't the fucking case. Yeah, so it's got spiritual roots, essentially. And what I'm reading here is, which I like this word, it looks like it's a new word for me, universalism. That sounds pretty damn cool, to be honest with you. God is so God is one, genderless, and is accessible to everyone directly, regardless of their caste or religion. This was not born out of fucking violence and death. This is a religion born in peace, as most religions often are. They're usually born out of struggle, aren't they? They're not born out of violence like that.
Yeah, the idea
until they get hijacked by people.
Love, mostly.
Yeah, and they're distinct people as well. You know what I mean? Like it's Anyway, but there's more. Don't worry. This is the tip of a bullshit iceberg. The kind of iceberg that you might see of a bullshit iceberg you might see floating around in one of our rivers, thanks to thanks to our water companies. Yay!
Ah, yes. Turd of Turd Bay.
Multiple statements. Like, I don't know if they had to, because this isn't common practice for the Sikh community. The Muslim community don't do that. They don't do that. So I really think, to the people who are just going, and I'm reading lots of fucking negative comments against the Sikh community, you fucking don't know any of them. Not really, you probably don't. And I'm telling you, they are the best, decent, loyal.
What we said the day before, though, isn't it?
Do you know what they've done?
Nope.
They formed a gang called...
No, he conflated them with Islam, and then he put it out there. Now, what he's trying to do is he's done the opposite thing, where he's not conflating them with Islam.
Your ass, isn't it? That's what he's playing there.
No, he's not even doing that. He's doing the opposite. It's both that. It's that, and it's got a dual purpose. What he's about to do now, he's trying to weaponize the Sikh and the Sikh community and say that, you know what, they fucking hate Muslims too. And even if we flip it the other way, it's still a vehicle. This murder is still a vehicle that we can use to hijack and push our violent and insidious, disgusting agenda out there to the broader population. Like, check what he's about to say now, Dad. Do you ever remember this event happening?
For the Punjab in the 70s and 80s. And temples have to put forward men as volunteers. And when the Sikh girls get targeted by Muslim gangs, hundreds of men turn up. They got organised. Do you know there was a case in Leicester Leicester a few years ago? A Sikh girl was raped and the police were doing nothing. And then 19 Sikhs, the business they owned, the Muslims, the property they owned, and another business got obliterated at the same time. The Muslims were chopped up, they were stabbed up.
That didn't happen. As far as I can tell, unless anybody's got any links that can prove differently, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. Well, I'm not. I'd rather this didn't happen. I mean, to be honest with you, it's an awful, terrible thing. However, that didn't happen as far as I can tell. All the research I could do indicates that didn't happen. And what he's about to do is when he's talking about things, he starts to mishmash them up and he starts to conflate certain things, as he always does, trying to push this out. It's not what he says he is. It's not what he says it's happening. Let's crack on with what the rest of he's got to say, because he's fucking lying.
The police had already come out before this and made a statement saying it's all rumours about grooming. It's not rumours. They anally raped a Sikh girl, but that's what the head of the police stood on TV and lied. He said it's all rumours about grooming.
No incidents like that happened in Leicester. There was no attack by an organised effort by Sikh communities and Sikh men who have been put forward to defend against Islam, because that's their faith. It isn't their faith. They don't elect people to be put forward to fight Islam. And in Leicester, those people put forward to fight against Islam that don't exist also didn't, surprise, surprise, chop people up and stab people up. That didn't happen. That isn't a thing. He's making this up. He's inventing it.
Now, the Sikhs went and took revenge. When the police fail you, what chance do you have? So 19, I think, went to jail. 19 Sikhs went to jail for that case. And then their temples collect for them and support their families. At some point, men have to step up. At some point. We're not organised. We need to be. When they're targeting young girls, there should be 100, 200 Englishmen turn up. Give the girls back. Yeah? Where's the girls? But the Sikhs got organised. So I had lots of meetings with these groups over the years in how we could. And do you know what? I went down to a Sikh temple, a summer school, and the kids on the estate were smashing it, throwing rocks and calling them terrorists.
It's because of the environment that you've helped create.
Yeah.
You are the tier 2
Absolutely.
architect.
Coming back at him, it's a shame he didn't get hit by one of them bricks.
So, as far as I'm aware, so this incident didn't happen. And I think what he's doing is he's mixing up something that happened in Hounslow. Nobody got attacked. Yes, a crowd of about 150 British Sikhs gathered outside of a flat in Hounslow, but it was peaceful. It was a demonstration to get a missing 16-year-old girl back home to her family, who potentially has gone of her own volition to this person's house. Nobody was chopped up, and I'm not saying there wasn't any grooming element into it, but there was no grooming gang, because when you look up some of these stories and you're trying to look up the things that he says, you get a bunch of these other stories. None of them are true, and they fall apart under scrutiny immediately. But it has been sensationalized by certain far-right media, like small channel outlets and people that are operating on the word of people like Tommy Robinson, who, by the way, has also come into problems for making up lies about this fucking bullshit. But what he said about the Hounslow incident, and I think he's conflating the Hounslow incident as well, that's wrong too. And a lot of the misinformation online is absolute bullshit. So they gathered outside of this flat, crowds chanted religious slogans and recorded their interaction specifically to ensure legal and documented intervention was taking place, and not as like an organised effort to stab or chop people up. It was not a Pakistani grooming gang either, as was reported by some of these people, and I believe by this fella at the time, which is an incident. Again, I think I'm explaining two different incidents because I think he's conflated the two, and I'm trying to set the narrative straight. So Robinson's he's mixed these two things up, and none of them even really happened. There was one dude who I don't even think was Pakistani. I think he was from somewhere else. Was involved in like a relationship with the 16-year-old that the crowd say he had been grooming since she was like 14 or 15 and things like that. And so, they were like, they did what communities do. They got out there and said, look, we want that, we want her back. But he's trying to weaponize that. And what he's trying to do is get out of painting an entire group of people because of their geographical location and the color of their skin, Sikhs and people that you would typically associate with being Muslim. He's trying to get out of that conflation by also weaponizing the Sikhs and saying, look, they're this big dangerous group that go around chopping people up. That never happened. He's making up lies. He's lying to you. It's bullshit, but people will eat it up. And that right there is, I think, the end of the Burke Alert and the Far Right Files for today. What do you think, Dad?
All right, mate. I've been saying it like it is. Identifying who. No, it's been good. It's been good. Yes. No, it has. I'm sure it's a lot clearer now. It's a lot clearer in my misty old mind.
Do you think so? What are the chat thinking?
That's the chat. The chat's been it's been a bit of a battleground. Chief's taken a hell of a beating. He decided to take Emsey on in I guess brain cell competition, and he's come like fucking third, and there's only two of them, so it's a bit of him. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, people are understanding how you're putting it. It seems everybody's nobody's saying what what's going on with it. It seems pretty clear. I would say. Sterling work, young man. Sterling work.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Dad. Next time, so I've got a structured format for what I want to do next time on the next stream, and we'll have loads of bits. That's a proper joint effort. I'm sorry that I had to do all this stuff sort of like rushed, and you know how life is. You've been having the grandkids over and everything else, so it would have been difficult for us to do homework properly.
We've got a grandson at the hospital as well. Well, you've got a young fellow at the hospital. I've got a grandson at the hospital, so we need to sort of
thoughts and prayers for the Burke family. But Yeah, at the moment as well, the next time that we come back, by the way, guys, we will be talking about funding, about the money, because the donors should be included in the tier list system there. But I think, to be honest with you, it's worth the whole thing on its own to look at far right funding, to look at left wing funding indeed as well, and see how they differ. Why is one a bit more complex than the other? Why is one, just a single sort of small list of individual billionaires and everything else? There's loads to go through. It's a really interesting thing to see where the funding comes from, and to see because without the funding, that tier system, that circular tier list that we showed you, that wouldn't exist anyway. So, without the billionaires at the top of all these industries, including the YouTube billionaire, the Google billionaires and things, there's so much to go into it. And we're going to get in touch with you. We're going to get that done soon, not tomorrow, but the day after. We're in every other day stream. Remember that when we can. We are every other days, and we will see you on another day. Do you want to hit him with the 11 P's, Dad?
Of course I do. As ever, thanks for coming, guys. Love and peace.